Hi everyone. Hope that you're having a great week. A little bit late getting on tonight. I had a debrief session with the folks from the panel that I spoke on at the Transforming Gender conference. We had a chance to share about our experience, which was very lovely, and survived the bomb cyclone yesterday. So it was for real. I have lived in Minnesota for 10 years, and so I thought I saw a lot of weather, but goodness, yeah, it was really like a snow hurricane. So I was very grateful that I had the opportunity to just stay home yesterday, have a little downtime. So very wonderful. So I'm excited to be here with you tonight to do part two of our experiment of the power of all of us together. And this is to use the power of group consciousness to put our minds together to create the kind of world that we want to live in. So I've been working with the community visioning project called Let Us Rise for a bit. We did, especially after the election, um, we did community visioning in various communities. And what I was always struck by is the degree to which communities, even that see themselves as polar opposites with nothing in common, when doing guided visualization about the kind of world that they want to live in, practically identical things that they came up with. And so, I mentioned in here before that, we have just so many media images of what apocalypse looks like as far as the future of humanity, and we don't have very good visions for what a future looks like that we would actually want to live in. And so we're not really able to create what we can't even imagine. And so I do think it is really important for us to be able to use the power of our imagination and the power of our intention to be able to imagine and create the world that we want to live in, and not to wait for somebody else or authority figures to do that for us at some point in the future, but to really get clear about what we want now and to go out and live that life now and create that life now, and to stop waiting, um, individually and collectively, and also doing that kind of work together. We could really get a real boost in our confidence. It could be easy to feel isolated and feel like, well, you're the only one that feels that way. And so to come together with other people who are looking to live in the same kind of world that you are can really be really empowering. And so since this group is really all about gathering people together who are leaders, then I thought, let's use the best of that capacity to use the power of this group to come together and to start creating that world now. And so, welcome, Augusto, and welcome to all the new folks who have joined over the last couple of days. It's really exciting to see. And I got behind on folks' posts again from my recent trip to Pueblo and back down to New Mexico. And so I'm steadily catching up on that again. So thanks again for your patience. So, if you just want to go ahead and just close your eyes, we're just going to do a little guided meditation together. And those of you who will be watching this later on or tomorrow, I just encourage you to be in a quiet place so you have a chance to really just let yourself surrender to what your heart is longing for. So, just start by just taking a few deep breaths. And just let your body start to relax. And let your mind relax and expand to what I think of as your inner peripheral vision, where you're not really focused on anything in particular in front of you. You're just taking in the broad expanse. So, we really want to just really give our imagination some space. And so, just breathe yourself into a space of possibility and just let go, all of those kind of limiting beliefs that we have about what can't happen for us individually or for us collectively. because our future really has no relation to our past. And so just because we haven't necessarily seen something in the past does not mean that we can't create it 5 minutes from now. And so just imagine waking up 20 years in the future. You could be the same age that you are now. And imagine waking up in the world that you most want to live in. And so after decades of strong community building and societal dismantling, then we have finally created lives and communities that are based on our most cherished values. And so what does this world look like and feel like? So as you imagine yourself waking up, then just notice, where are you? What kind of shelter are you in? Who are you with? How do you feel in this new world? How do you feel in your space? And as you let yourself move around, then just notice how you take care of your needs in this new world. So notice, what do you do for food? What do you do for transport? How do you get around? How do people gather? What does community look like and feel like in this new world? What are children doing in this world? And just notice everything that you possibly can about this new existence, especially how it feels in your body. And so just bring to life all of the details of it just as vividly as you possibly can. Make it really real. And just really allow yourself to be fully immersed in this experience. And just take it in on all levels. And so just imagine the details and the corresponding emotions. When your experience feels complete, then just imagine all of the other folks who are also going to be doing this and putting their energy and their love and their life into the future that they want to create. And I encourage you, as you have those details, to post them and share them with the group so that folks have a chance to see some of the commonalities and similarities that we have, as well as the tremendous imagination that we have, the tremendous capacity that we have, just even in this small group of a couple hundred people. And so when your experience feels complete, then take a final deep breath and go ahead and come on back, feeling refreshed and alert. If there's anything that you want to share about that or anything that came to you, then feel free to post that. And if you had fun with that or felt inspired by it in any way, then this is the kind of thing that we do in my 8-week life transformation course. And so, we do more intuitive practice in here because, part of being a leader is, being better attuned and being able to listen to and live from our hearts. And that gets better with practice. And so we'll continue to do stuff like that in here. And so I also wanted to mention something about that with regards to kind of the use of intuition and being in this group as kind of an intuitive practice, in addition to allowing yourself to energetically connect with others and to notice how you feel about that. Also, how to know if you are feeling intuitively drawn to be working together with me. And so one of those things is, if you're just feeling a sense of calling around it, if you feel irresistibly drawn, that is usually a good indication. Both of you are feeling, excited and hopeful. And if you're also feeling, terrified and resistant, then that could also equally be a sign of calling. So if you have an emotional charge around it, either way, then that's usually an indication. If you're majorly relating to stuff that I talk about on the Facebook Lives, that's also an indication as well, because that's what my course is designed for, and is a collection of all of the tools over the years that I have used to get my own self unstuck from the various issues that I was struggling with. And that is what I talk about in the Facebook Lives, is all of the areas where I was stuck. And so these are all the tools to help you permanently get unstuck in those areas. And so if you're identifying a lot with the Facebook Lives, then it would probably be helpful to you. And hi, welcome, Amanda. Let's see. If you're feeling a strange sense of familiarity, or recognition with me. That is also an indication. When you join this Facebook group, if you felt a strange sense of familiarity or recognition, like if it was a place that just felt like home to you, that would also be an indication. Or if you, when you thought about joining the Facebook group, if you felt inexplicably drawn to that, like it was something that you just felt like you just had to do, and you felt like an inner sense of urgency around it, that also can be an indication. If you felt uplifted or helped by any of the exercises that we've done in here or the things that I've shared, that could also be an indication. If you're feeling like you're not who you are meant to be, like there is something more for you, that also could be an indication. If you're feeling like you are called to be a leader, but that really scares you, or you're not really sure how to go about it, that is also an indication that you would be helped. And finally, if you are feeling desperate, like you just can't take another day of living with whatever has been bothering you, that also would be an indication. Uh, so, as my sense, I did years and years and years of therapy. So you could do the 10 years of therapy mode. Or you could, transform everything in 8 weeks and move on to live the life that you're meant to and be the person that you're meant to. So, let's see. Oh, Amanda says, of course, sounds awesome. Thank you. Uh, I'm obviously very excited about it because, my purpose for being here on the planet is transformation. And it's something that obviously, as a trans person, that I have a good degree of specialty in. And so I do feel very excited and very passionate about it. It's like such an honor to me to be with people as they go through changing their lives. I always feel that way with my students. Like it's so incredibly touching to me because it is such a vulnerable process to really have, the whole way that you've seen the world kind of come unglued in good ways. And you learn like, oh, maybe the world isn't as limited as I thought. And maybe I'm not as small as I thought. And, it's always scary to take that step. But people are always so happy on the other side. And so it really is just a huge source of joy for me to be with people on that journey. So again, I'll be catching up on your posts over the next couple of days. I hope you have a wonderful weekend. My chorus has our first performance of the season on Saturday at the PFLAG Gender Expansive Youth Fashion Show. And that is just such an adorable event. I cannot describe to you kids from like kindergarten to about 12, basically parading down the catwalk and having the MC sharing about, their hobbies and their favorite subjects in school, and them getting to dress just exactly as fabulously as they would like to, and just have full community support in expressing themselves. And so, that takes about 10, 15 minutes for the kids to walk down the catwalk. And then they go backstage and then they change into another outfit. And so my chorus is the intermission entertainment, basically. We sing for the parents while the kids are getting changed. And then the kids come through on the catwalk again. Thank you. Amanda says to please post about things. Yeah, my talk yesterday, last night got postponed because of the bomb cyclone. So that'll be next week. So thank you all for joining. It's great to have you. And please post about your vision that came to you of the world that you most want to live in, because the more energy that we put in that direction, the more that we are able to create that. And I know we're living currently in times where it is so easy to focus on the negative and so easy to get sucked into the world that we don't want to be living in. And so it's really important to use the power of us coming together to really remind um, ourselves and each other, who we are, because it's so easy to forget who you are in the current world and to feel like you're much smaller than you are, to lose your way, to lose your sense of self. And really, really important to remind each other about the world that we want to live in and the ways that we can create it right in the here and now, instead of, being told that social change only happens through other people, through authority figures, through elections and politicians and laws and policy changes, and that it takes a really long time and we have to settle with, just tiny little piecemeal gains that get immediately retracted. That is not how social change happens. And we are here to create that social change. That's why we are all in this group. And so I look forward to seeing your visions, what you came up with, and also to create that together. So have a good evening, and I will talk to you in a few days.